During the past 8 weeks, I've been learning about the value of Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, in supporting the full range of students in the classroom. UDL is based on brain research and is designed to help support students with all levels of learning needs, abilities, and preferences. This presentation will examine what had been one of my biggest preconceptions about learning environments, how this course and my volunteer experience have worked together to change my view, and how I hope to use this knowledge in the future as a teacher. Before taking this course, I believed it was important to spend the majority of my instructional time catering to the average student. I believed this approach would help me reach the largest possible number of my students and that I could do my best to accommodate those on either end of the spectrum as time allowed. Although I knew this method would not allow enough time to completely satisfy the needs of either the highest or lowest achieving students, I didn't know how else to help my mid-level students, who I imagined would be the majority of my class, to make adequate progress. Unfortunately, this approach can fail to meet the needs not only of struggling and advanced learners, but also frequently of those imaginary average students as well, turning an otherwise capable group into a classroom of zombies, completely unconnected to the learning. And who are these so-called average students anyway? As it turns out, they really don't exist. There will always be students who are average in one subject or another, but most often they will also struggle in some areas and excel in others. Every student has strengths. UDL is designed to help students utilize those strengths in a wider variety of learning situations. As it turns out, all students can benefit from the availability of variety in the classroom and the freedom to make use of the resources and methods that work best for them. While designing learning experiences for students on the margins allows those students to participate on a more equal footing with their peers, it also allows students at every other ability level to take advantage of supports and technologies which were not previously available to them, helping them to also make the most of their learning and achieve at higher levels. My work with first and second grade students in the Beacons After School program has really helped me see the range of which so many kids are capable. A large number of the students are English language learners, and many of them struggle to be successful on their homework. However, I saw many examples of struggling students excelling when the conditions were right. Raphael and Hugh are two perfect examples. I worked for weeks with Raphael on his math homework with little success. He would struggle through the directions and each individual word problem. Although he frequently asked me to read it to him, I kept encouraging him to read the problems on his own. He would read part of the problem, then guess his way through the math, and generally come up with the wrong answer. One day when he was feeling particularly frustrated, I broke down and read the problem to him. He immediately set it up and solved for the correct answer. When I began offering him more support with the written language, his success with his math homework soared. He didn't struggle with math, as I'd originally suspected, but rather with decoding the unfamiliar written words on the page. All he needed was to be able to access what was being asked in a different way. Now I have to prevent him from shouting out the correct answers to his classmates' math problems when I read the text aloud for them. Hugh is a native speaker of Vietnamese, and while his English is improving quickly, it's still limited. Last week, his class was working on a report about animals. The report needed to have both written information and a drawing. Hugh copied what he felt was the correct information word for word from the book, and I remember wondering if he understood any of what it said at all. Then he started his drawings. While he couldn't convey in his own words what an eagle looked like or what part of its habitat was, his vivid, detailed drawings very accurately portrayed what his minimal language ability couldn't. It wasn't a lack of understanding that was holding Hugh back, but a lack of English proficiency. Allowing students the opportunity to express themselves in multiple ways gave Hugh a chance to be successful at this project, while also allowing him to display one of his strengths. Both the class materials and my volunteer experience over the past few weeks have really helped me see that often all a student needs to be successful is the freedom to use an alternate way of accessing or expressing learning. I've also come to see that there's no one student who is average at everything, and trying to cater to those students who appear average will have me spinning my wheels without benefit to anyone. The best way to successfully reach the most students, and what I hope to be able to accomplish in my own classroom in the future, is to offer a multitude of supports and opportunities that allow students to use their own individual strengths to succeed. By catering those supports and opportunities to the students with the most pronounced needs and the most obvious strengths, I can ensure that those choices are also available for every other student in the class, helping everyone to access whatever it is that helps them achieve to the height of their own potential.